Hello, and welcome to Daston's DC-on-Demand SuiteApp demonstration. Today, I will demo our compliant timekeeping. I'll start by going into a normal employee's timesheet. So I can go into my weekly timesheet in here, and it'll pull in the current week. When I enter time for a new week, I can either start from scratch by entering my timesheet data by selecting the project, or I can actually copy a previous week's timesheet lines. So if I decide to start from scratch, I can click on the project line, I can click on the project, it'll tell me a warning if necessary, and then it'll start pre-populating the data by default. And then I can start entering the timesheets. Otherwise, if I refresh the screen, I can choose to copy the data from a previous week. So I can select copy from week, and then I can choose a previous week in here. It'll start populating the data in here, as you can see. It'll only populate the timesheet lines, not the actual hours. So if there's a line that I didn't want to have in here, so for example, the PTO, I can always remove that if necessary. And then I can start entering timesheet line data as needed. So I can say I work all these different hours. Here, so I worked there, and today I worked 8 hours here. Now, if I try to enter time for tomorrow, because today is the 4th, if I enter 8 hours and I hit to a different line, it will give me a line level validation error saying that I can't enter time in the future for this project. However, if I bring that PTO project back in, I am allowed to charge in the future for my PTO. So I can say that I am going to take tomorrow off. So in there, I can click on a different line, and then I can hit save. Once the timesheet is saved, I can then edit it as necessary. So if I come back in here and edit it, and I realize that I made a mistake on a previous day, let's say instead of 4 hours, I actually worked 6 hours on Tuesday, I can click on that day, change the hours. If I change the time and I change the line, it'll say, please enter a reason of why you changed. So I can come in here, click reason for change. I can write wrong hours, entered, and then I can hit save. And so that will create the audit trail showing that a record has been altered for a previous day. And if we need to look at the audit trail of that, we can. Once my time is good to go and I'm ready to submit my time, I first need to actually certify my time. So I can click validate certify, and I can see my timesheet, that is a legal document that I approve my time and that it is to the best of my ability accurate. So once I click OK, you can see a submit button appears. Now I click submit, and it will send an alert to my supervisor or my project manager to approve my time. If I decide, though, that I made a mistake accidentally, I can actually retract my timesheet while it's in pending approval status. I can retract the entire thing, or I can say on a specific cell, I can click retract on only that specific cell. And so the rest of the timesheet is still in pending approval for my supervisor to approve, but this specific field will not be able to be approved by the supervisor, and I can still edit it. Once I'm good and I save it and submit it, then I can submit it to my approver again. So now I'm going to show you the approval side when the supervisor needs to approve the timesheet. Now I'm on the approval side. So on my screen, I can see all the employees who have submitted their time. So I can see that I need to approve some timesheet records where I can either click here or I can actually click the approved time. So what it'll do is bring me to the screen to show me all the timesheets that I need to approve. I can see there's multiple in here. Now I can click the employee or the period that I want to review. So I can click on that employee that was entered and see their data in here. I can review to make sure everything is accurate and that there's no issues. I can approve everything if I'm good to go. I can reject it all. I can reject it with a note to send it back down to the employee explaining what the issue is. Or I can actually go on a specific cell and say, I don't approve this, or I do approve this, and I can put a rejection note for those specific cells and then do the opposite. So I can say I reject this line, but approve the rest of it, so that only that specific field needs to be corrected by the employee who will get a note, and then they can resubmit it so I can approve it and make sure it's accurate. Once all the time is approved, this pending approval status will go into approved, and then payroll can now begin processing.